What would it take to arouse your life, to experience more connection, more pleasure, more realness, in and outside of the bedroom? I'm August McLaughlin, and this is Girl Boner Radio.
And she was like, Ebony, come here. I'm just like kind of laying on the bed already. She was like, open your legs. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on.
And I breathed and I breathed, and I was just so committed to transforming and to feel whatever what there was to feel.
Ebony Mystique is an adult entertainer and producer, as well as a Playboy centerfold. And it was her work in porn that led her to her first sex toy experience. Ebony's story made me think of another one of my favorite G-Spot stories from speaker and author Deborah Kagan, so you'll hear that today too, plus some of their top sex toy advice. First, a bit about Ebony's journey. Early on, she told me that she learned that sex feels good.
I learned that masturbation was pleasurable to me. My mom worked a lot, so honestly, I had like a lot of time to myself because I had like nanny care. She was a director of drug rehab, so she worked long hours, and I was pretty much the only child in my home. And there was like TV and porn, and I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool. So just kind of pleasuring myself. It was more or less like, I should not be watching this. My mom doesn't know, so I'm going to watch it. More rebellious stuff. It used to give me some spidey senses, butterflies.
Ebony was about 11 when she started that exploration, and the household, she said, was
Pretty sex positive. My mom was a single parent, but she had boyfriends. Me and my mom never really had conversation per se, one-on-one about sex, but since I was like growing boobs and interested in what's going on with vaginas, she would buy a lot of colorful like books about reproduction, and she's a nurse also. So anatomy books.
She also learned about sex, or at least reproduction, in school.
They had those sexual education classes in 8th grade or something where we had like an egg and then you had a partner.
Basically, the kids would be paired as co-parents.
And we would have an egg, and that would be our baby. And it would be like a week assignment. You can put hair on your eggs to make it all cute. But if it broke, well, you lost the assignment.
I guess the baby died. The idea was to show how fragile and delicate a baby is, so kids would take pregnancy prevention seriously. Going into adulthood, Ebony said she always wanted to be sexy, even during her previous career. Until 5 years ago, she was a nurse.
And I always got the cutest scrubs, and I used to do my makeup. Couldn't use perfume in the hospital setting, of course, but I wanted to. However, the place of medicine is not the place to be beautified. It's actually possibly sexual harassment claim, or you may lose your job, too much of that. So I always wanted to be sexy. Honestly, a lot of nurses think about being like sexy. We talk about this stuff at the nurses station once all our patients are sleeping.
She used to work the night shift.
Especially when I worked in Las Vegas hospitals. Some of the nurses actually were go-go dancers and nurses.
She said in some ways the COVID pandemic actually got her into the industry.
I was just newly into my position as a nurse in the advice call center. I left patient care hand-on and went into the advice call center as an advice nurse, very new in that position. Then Corona came about. So my seniority was the reason why I couldn't continue my job. It was going to be like, we all have to be home, quarantined. You'll get the highest level of unemployment and use out your sick time.
She was like, that's really nice, but
I live in LA. My rent is like $6K, just rent alone. It wasn't going to work out. So I decided to call a very big legendary porn star that I've been friends with for a while.
Picky XXX.
And I told her kind of before the world knew that it was a real quarantine situation, that there's a possibility we're all going to be in the house. Sound like it was some weird theory I came up with, but it clearly was true. And I asked Pinky Triple X if I could shoot for her site. I did, and it went more viral than at that time I thought it would or wanted it to.
Ebony had tried to keep her identity private.
I did it with a mask. I thought the mask would help. It totally failed. The mask did not work.
Oh, no, you mean it like fell off?
No, it like stayed on, but like a lot of people knew it was me. My tattoos, body structure.
Ah.
My uncles knew it was me who told my mom.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No, my twin uncles, I guess are avid porn watchers, saw the scene and told my mom. I told Pinky, we did 2 scenes, and I told her to take them down because my mom had found out, and she did. And I was still back at work, and one of the guys at work that I'm friends with saw the scene. So that was my last day at work. I was like, "Oh shit. It's bigger than I want it to be. My mom knows, people at work know. I think I'm going to exhaust my sick leave and just take the option to stay home." I kind of ran out of there and never went back.
So here's her sex toy story. About 6 months into her adult film career, Ebony tried her first vibrator.
I was in porn. I did not use toys, not a dildo. I don't even think, honestly, I think I never even been into like an adult store for real. I don't know if it's like New York culture or like Connecticut, like East Coast men culture, but nobody ever asked me to use a vibrator. I never even considered it before I got into porn.
She said she learned about vibrators in the funniest way possible. She was hanging out with her then manager after a convention.
There were like 6 girls in the room. It was after Exotica, one of the bigger fan conventions, and we were like drinking cocktails and just having fun. And just like as a fun thing, Pinky was like, "Look what I have, girls." I'm like, "What the hell is that?" This big old white thing. It's the wand. And it was like, "Come here, let me try this on you." And she was like, "Ebony, come here." I'm just like kind of laying on the bed already. She was like, "Open your legs." I was like, "Okay, I don't know what's going on." And she just put that thing on my vagina. And I was like, "Yo, stop. This is crazy. Like, what's going on?" Then I was like, "No, do it again." It totally hit my G spot like immediately. I didn't even know that was humanly possible because when guys kind of go down on you, and most guys don't really know what they're doing. It doesn't really do the orgasm thing, it just gets all wet down there. But that was like a fun, friendly experience that was like good for me. And the next thing you know, I'm like, my panties are all wet. And I took the vibrator and did it to her, and she's all squirming around too. We just had a good time that evening. Very girl friendly, but it was like, this is fun.
Toys are a really common way people with a vulva find their G-spot, by the way. Some toys are specifically shaped to stimulate that area, which is part of the clitoral network. It's a super sensitive and erogenous area for many. In 2020, around the time Ebony left nursing for porn, I spoke with Deborah Kagan about her experience finding her G-spot.
I was absolutely hell-bent on discovering my G-spot. This was back in my, I guess, early 30s. I had been married to a wonderful man, but we just were not connected sexually. It just didn't work for numerous reasons. And so after I left that marriage, I was orgasmic and I could self-pleasure and clitoral stimulation, all of that. Like I knew how all that worked. And I started to become aware about G-spots and G-spot orgasms, but I had yet to experience it myself. And so I went on this mission, and it was legitimately a mission. I went to the pleasure chest, right? Because I thought I'm going to the epicenter in LA, right, of getting a great sex toy. And the staff there is so fantastic. So I just said, "Hey, what do you recommend for finding a G-spot?" And I was led to this glass G-spot dildo. And so I went home. I had prepared and made the room an oasis. There were candles, okay? There was essential oils. There was good lighting. And I'm with myself. But again, this is filling your cup.
So she pulled out the toy.
And I tried it. And didn't really happen the first time. So I was, again, committed on a mission. It was with this glass G-spot dildo and patience and breath and the willingness to be in my body deeply, because it's a different experience. And it was uncomfortable at first. There was like almost an emotional discomfort and an irritation. And I wanted to stop, and I was starting to get mad, and I was starting to get frustrated.
Past sexual traumas came up for her too.
That irritation, there was just these moments of, okay, I'm starting to feel, but that cellular memory of like, I don't want to feel because that was painful at the time. And I breathed and I breathed, and I was just so committed to transforming and to feel whatever what there was to feel.
Gradually, pleasure unfolded.
It took a little while. I'm talking, this was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. This was not like a 5-minute ordeal. There was a sense of, this feels good. I'm liking this. Oh, wait, let me go to the left and the right. And oh, what if I slow down a little more and even slower? And now if it's just this tap, something happened to the point where I started to feel good. And then it was like, oh my God, this is going deeper and deeper. And an orgasm started to happen that I have never in my life felt before. It was as though my body was swelling to the point of the size of the entire room. This kind of almost like earthquakey undulation of the body happened. And then here's the wild part. And this might sound really fucking weird, but here we are. It was as though the ceiling kind of got blurry, but then it like parted. It's like it parted like the Red Sea, but it's like it started to open, and it was like God, goddess, it was spirit, it was that. And it was above me, whatever it was, big guardian angel, it was something from spirit that was so present and so floating like right above me. And all of this light came into the room. I've never taken LSD, but I imagine if one ever did take LSD, this would be kind of what
I think so.
an
From what I've
experience
read,
could be
it
like.
sounds very psychedelic.
Yeah, it was very psychedelic. And so
Yeah.
anyway, so then I start crying because it's like I felt so connected to everything. And I'm orgasming and I'm crying and I'm orgasming. And it went on and on and on and on and on. And then I just laid there and cried and laughed for probably like another 15 minutes. And that's how I discovered my G-spot, August.
Thank you so much for sharing that. How did that impact your sexuality moving forward?
Oh my gosh. Well, it just got me hungrier and more curious, because I was like, ooh, if my body can do that, what else can we do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was just like, ooh. And then I was like, wow, okay, I can experience that with myself. Can I experience that with a partner? What is that going to be like? How do we keep doing that? And it opened up an entire new world, which actually got me on the path of what I've been doing now for 11 years. It got me on the path of supporting women in what I call rocking their mojo.
Aw.
Yeah, so it changed my life.
If you would like to expand your own sex toy experiences, Ebony has some tips. For women and people with a vulva, she suggests at least trying the kind of toy that sent her reeling.
It's the vibrator for me. It actually helps a woman get to an orgasm. There are some women who never had an orgasm, and the vibrator helps with that sensation.
She also likes a toy she's a brand ambassador for. It's called the Melrose.
That is the #1 male sex toy on the market right now. This is for penis havers. They love it. It has like this like sucking thing going on, turning thing. I've actually used it in my own personal off-camera sexual experience and on-camera sexual experience with the guy.
If you're interested in or curious about anal sex,
Butt plugs are cool. Glass ones are great. Silicone ones are cool.
and while toys can be super fun to use with a partner, especially if you're new to them, solo sessions are often a fun way to start. For that, Ebony suggests the right mindset.
Get into your zone. Get into your zone. Masturbation is very personal. It's almost like a massage. It's like your time to just like cut everything off and enjoy your massage. I think masturbation is the same thing. Whatever makes you calm and be able to in tune to yourself, because when you're thinking, you can lose your just by like one thought or a sound that's like abrupt and takes you off of the feeling that you were building up and gathering. So I think it's important to kind of really have a moment to yourself. I try to turn everything off, know that this moment is for me. Sometimes I even talk myself through it. I dirty talk myself. Me and my vagina have a relationship in these moments because I don't want her playing with me.
And she said she needs her O.
So just very in tune to the action of what I'm doing and accepting that, and the magic happens. Masturbation is very personal. Whatever that means for you, there's no shame in it. This is for you. It's totally about you. You're pleasuring yourself.
Here's what Ebony wanted you to know about her work.
If you're watching Ebony Mystique, be prepared to laugh. I love sex comedy. I love to be entertaining, but you're definitely going to get that old school porn feel because that's what I like. No holds bar when they say action. If we're in the act of sex, that's exactly what you're going to get. You're going to get that old school porn feel from me. I appreciate that about myself. I'm very sexually open and I'm fun. I'm fun to watch. And my viewers really get that from me. You're going to have a good time. From start to finish, my energy doesn't go away until they say cut.
On a related note, Ebony's mom now appreciates her porn work too.
My mom's pretty decent. At first, of course, she was a little like, what the hell? What the helly? What the heliante? Like, what, are you okay? My mom is very non-judgmental, and I have done everything that my parents have asked me to do in my early adult life. Into my adult life, I helped retire my mom. They know that I make pretty decent decisions, even if they may seem a little weird. It's the usual best decision for me, and that's how my mom looks at it. If this was something you wanted to do, I know it was planned out and thought about it because I'm like a super overthinker about things, and she sees my success as good. I did it in the best way possible. If I wanted to be sexually liberated, all the little nominations, the contracts, the Playboy, everything that came with it made it easier for my mom to see that this is a profession and this is not like illegal or in any sort. So I do kind of consider my family even through my porn, because I'm a representation of them, if that makes sense for some people, because my family loves me and they appreciate me, and I still help them out financially, and we still love each other. And yeah, they're super non-judgmental. My mom's good.
Find all things Ebony at onlyfans.com/Ebony Mystique. She has a new website in the works, but you can find her easily online by just searching. Her accounts are verified, and there are lots of fake imitations, she said, so look for that check mark. To learn more from Deborah Kagan, visit deborahkagan.co. Find her book, Unaddressed, An Invitation to Claim Your Erotic Nature, or your favorite bookseller. If you're enjoying Girl Boner Radio, please take a moment to text a link to your friends. You can also support the show with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.